Hello, time for another Man in Gray book review. Today's book is The Girl That Can't Get a Girlfriend by Mieri, Hiranishi, published in 2019 by Viz Media. It's 208 pages. This is a graphic memoir, so it's basic, but it's got fictionalized elements, so it's basically autofiction. And it was written and illustrated by Hiranishi. And it started out as a web comic, and because of its popularity, the various episodes were collected and published in book form. Um, Murray figures out when she's in middle school that she's attracted to other women. And as she gets older, she identifies as what we stereotypically call a butch lesbian. And she's attracted to other butch women like herself. Now, she is living and going to college in Japan. And the dating pool there for women who she's attracted to is very small. And so she finds it very difficult to find anyone that she can form a relationship with. And so she goes through her college years basically alone and very lonely. But toward the end of her college senior year, she meets an American woman who's teaching in Japan named Ash, and she's the blonde here on the cover. And the two of them hit it off right away. And Mieri falls deeply in love with Ash, although it becomes clear early on in the book that Ash is not as attracted, not as deeply in love as Mieri is. And so in the early parts of the book, she's just wonderfully happy. For the first time in her life, she's found someone that she's in love with, and it feels like her life is coming together and everything's going to be okay. But at the end of her school term, she has to go back to the United States. And so she tells Ash that she's going away, but she'll be back in a year. She has to wait a year before she can get a visa to come back to Japan. And then Ash drops a bombshell on her. Ash tells Mieri that she doesn't believe a year-long, long-distance relationship can work. And so she doesn't want to hold her back. She thinks that this will, that she'll find somebody in the United States. And so she dumps her, basically. Ash breaks up with Mieri. And this plunges Mieri into a deep depression that lasts 4 years. She just can't get over this, even though they were only together for about a month. She feels that her whole life is ended, and she spirals down into a deep depression. And when she goes back to the United States, she manages to find a job as in a bank, and so her professional life is actually going pretty well, but her personal life has just fallen completely apart. And at first, she goes through the basic stages of grief, denial, and bargaining, and so forth. She desperately tries to win Ash back. She changes her hairstyle and starts working out, and she eventually goes back to Japan on vacation. But it becomes clear that Ash has already met somebody else and is not interested in reconnecting with Mieri, which plunges Mieri back into an even deeper depression. So it's a rather depressing story. But toward the end of the book, after 4 years, she gradually kind of comes out of her funk and realizes that she's got value as a person, that her whole self-esteem shouldn't be tied to another person. She gives up her job at the bank and begins publishing what becomes this book on the web, and that becomes quite popular. And she buys new clothes and changes her hairstyle again and begins to rejoin the world and starts looking for another partner. So it ends in a kind of hopeful note, but much of it is quite sad. And you feel sorry for Mieri, and I'm sure a lot of people can identify with her, but the fact that it took her 4 years to get over a relationship that only lasted 4 weeks or 4 or 5 weeks seems odd to me, and I'm sure it would seem odd to a lot of people, but I'm not in her position, so I don't know. But it's certainly an interesting and heartfelt book, and it's sort of an unusual genre-bending book because it's a manga. It's written in a manga style, but it's nonfiction and very personal, unusually personal for these kind of books. So if it sounds like something you'd be interested in, you may want to pick up a copy of The Girl That Can't Get a Girlfriend by Mieri Hiranishi. This has been another Man in Gray book review. Thanks for watching.